Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Locked, and this is a new psychological horror thriller from director David Yarofsky, and this is based on a screenplay by Michael Arlen Ross, and it's based on the film 4x4. And this film focuses on a young man, Eddie, played by Bill Skarsgård, who breaks into this really fancy car, really desperate for money, trying to prove to his daughter and that like he can be good to her and be there for her. And here you have he breaks into this car, and the owner of the car, played by Anthony Hopkins, keeps him locked into this state-of-the-art car where he's torturing him with like freezing temperatures, very hot temperatures, yodeling, shocks, and all these kinds of things. And I feel like this is the kind of film, like, this is a very contained kind of idea. And you only get so much mileage out of it. And I think this is a well-directed. I think Yarofsky finds good ways to add some dynamic, interesting, and suspenseful moments in it. I think the film starts to get a little bit too big in terms of what it's trying to do and trying to stretch itself when like the car starts moving, and it goes into like all of these like side elements and all these kinds of exploration of like other so criminals, and how this film evolves. It just keeps getting more and more ridiculous, all the way up to like there's a moment where it's just like, this should be over because he should be dead, and then he should be dead again, and you just really have to suspend your disbelief for some of this movie to really work. And it just after a while loses its narrative thrust, and this feels like it probably would have worked a lot better as a more condensed short film. Even like a long form short film of like 40 minutes, I think you probably could have got enough mileage out of it. I do feel like it at least tries to do something a little bit more intelligent philosophically and thematically, as Eddie is somebody who's quote unquote from the streets, and that's all Hopkins' character William sees of him. But then they have these discussions about crime and punishment and quoting literature, and it's much more of an intellectual kind of sparring in many ways. And there's a lot of interesting themes that it explores, at least in terms of like what we would do if we're put in situations like this. And Anthony Hopkins gives a great mostly voice performance. He's in it a little bit, but he's having a ball, and he's very effective, and he's one of the greatest actors of all time, so makes a lot of sense. I think Skarsgård does a fine job. He plays a pretty, besides like some of the moments where he gets to like really flex his intellect and that kind of stuff, it's like we get the cliched kind of like he's not the best father and he's trying to prove to his daughter he never gets there on time, and it's all the circumstances. And at least I think Skarsgård's a really talented performer, and at least the two of them, Skarsgård and Hopkins, sparring verbally throughout this film at least makes it interesting and engaging in that way. But at the end of the day, I feel like this is just a bit of an overstretched experience, but it still has thrilling moments, and at least it scratches that itch for like high concept thriller horror type genre films. And if those are your kind of thing, at least you could do much worse than Locked. But those are my thoughts on Locked. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.